Hello and welcome back to A Splash of Paint. Now before we join leading wildlife artist Pip McGarry for today's art by exercise, I'm going to show you a few more simple techniques to help bring your paintings to life. Let's take a look at how to paint some street lamps in a watercolour picture. Now this might seem a strange thing, but really it can give a fantastic atmosphere, especially in the autumn scenes, the nice dark winter scenes. And if you put it against a dark sky like this basic background that I've prepared, it really makes quite a difference. I'm going to start off by using a size 8 brush and a little bit of water. And this background's had time to dry. And I'm just going to use the water and I'm going to scrub a bit of an oval shape at the top. And there's a very faint pencil line. I don't know whether you can even see that, to be honest, but that's just to give me reference where I know where the lamp's going to be. I've not drawn anything in as such. So just basically twisting and giving it a bit of a dab, and you can see it's just very lightly lifting off. Now you could use one of the watercolour erasers for this, that would give a different feel to it as well, but a brush will take a little bit off. It doesn't matter how much comes off as such, but that first one maybe even wants a square brush, because a square brush or a flat or a chisel has got a concentrated edge and you can really scrub and lift the colour off and just dab it quite firmly. You can see it's left a bit of a glow to the top, like a misty street. As regards painting the street lamps in, I tend to use a size 6. A little bit of water, just a tiny spot of water in there, and a nice strong natural grey, because that's a pre-mixed shadow colour, pre-mixed dark colour from red, yellow, blue, so it's going to work pretty well for this. And make sure that's semi-dry there before you carry on. And then start off by putting the main sort of line of the street lamp in. Now don't worry that it's a bit wobbly, because we'll tidy that up. I'll put the second one in as well, making that one thinner. And then just to the side of the water pot there, just going to add a lighter colour, just watering the same grey down, and then just going to add another one, so a lighter one, until they almost go back into nothing at the back. And then we'll put some detail on. For this, I'd rather use a rigger brush, which is a long skinny brush. Same dark colour that you started with. And I always put a bit of an extra width at the bottom, you see those, but something what you might want to experiment with, you quite often see these really fancy street lamps, and you get a bit of a sort of wiggle, I did say wiggle, and you wiggle it from side to side like a bit of a sort of a fancy bit of detail at the bottom there. And then sometimes get one a bit further up as well. Bit of a snake detail that wraps around the bottom. If you go somewhere like London or Paris in the parks, you quite often see these. So like a sort of wrapping around snake effect on the street lamps. Put one just further up as well. And then using the lighter colour, we can just get a very vague impression. The idea is that you barely want to see them at that distance. Using a little bit of water on the rigger brush, it's just nice to add a little bit of light to one side of the largest street lamp. So I'm just basically using a bit of water there and just adding a bit of highlight, and at the same time it tidies the edge up as well. There you go, and I'll do a similar thing on the one just to the left of it as well. Put the highlight just there. There we go. So that's the basic street lamps. You can see how it goes back into the distance. Of course, it wants a bit of detail at the top. So for this, we'll use the same dark again, natural grey rigger brush. I always find if you're doing fine lines, just dab the excess off on a bit of tissue first. That way it gives you a really point. And they start off looking a little bit like a sort of rake or something that you'd use in the garden. 3, you can sometimes get away with just creeping a 4th one on, but a very close one there at the top. And then you pop the top on, which is like a bit of a sort of hat, I guess, but you do that in rows, making it go nice and small at the top, and you can see that detail there. Just making sure it's nice and thick. It's normally a little bit thicker just at the point there where it connects to the main row. And we'll do the same thing for this. Obviously detail doesn't need to be as obvious for this one, with it being further away. So I'm putting this just over the area that I lifted out. There we go. And then using the lighter colour, just adding one or two little bits to the distant ones, almost to the point where it just disappears to nothing there. One final bit of detail, what's quite good to do is, you quite often get a bit of a sort of ornate detail just coming on the sides of these things. And I'll probably only put it on those two, because the distant one, again, the lighter colour, just get that little hint of something happening there. And the light colour is very good on these larger two to put a couple of diagonal lines over, very pale, just a couple of diagonal lines just skimming over the top, and it just gives that impression of it's catching the light from somewhere. And the last thing to do is to sit them on the ground, use the dark grey, very dry brush. Imagine this is all wet because it's got that feel to it, comes straight down, very dry, and then just basically flick down with the reflection, so it looks as though it's sat on a wet surface. But because it's not water, because it's actual land, it wants a bit of a horizontal dry brush effect as well, just to finish it off there. And there you go, folks, a very, very effective thing to do in your picture. And just to show you this in use on another painting, this is a painting what I did recently in New York, and you can see I put pretty much the same street lamp, and you can see how it's reflected in the water, well, or the actual roadway, and it's got a bit of a glow to it. So a very effective thing to do. Why not have a go yourself? Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and enjoy yourself. And remember, we're always keen to know how you get on. Why not upload examples of your work on the SAA community section of the website? Visit saa.co.uk for details. Okay, folks, time to have a bit of a ball. Let's join leading wildlife artist Pip McGarry as he pops into the Splashy Paint studio to demonstrate how light can affect your final finished painting in today's Art Bite project. Have fun.
Today we're going to paint a ball. I don't know what type of ball, I don't know what colour it will be, I don't know the context it will be in, but we're going to paint a ball, and we're going to try and show you the importance of light. I'm just going to let my palette take me where it takes me on colours, and we'll see what we can do. So, number 4, short, flat, fine hog, and we'll just draw out a little outline here. Could be the sun, could be a football, could be a ping pong ball, but it's a ball. A little bit of background in. A bit dry brush there. Let's put some more. Let's see what happens, what we turn up with here. It's just a mix of colours, muddling around on my palette, enjoying the paint. Which is the beauty of oils. It's a lovely medium. You can mix it and smudge it and play with it. It's a very organic type of painting. Okay, let's do something a little bit more. Let's give it a surface to sit on. There we are. It's fairly simply done. Nice straight line. What colour should we have the our sphere? I wonder. Let's try blue. Bluey with a bit of yellow ochre and orange in it, and see what that gives us. Really startling colour there, but the object of this lesson is to teach you about light and the importance of light and what it does to a picture. And you can see I'm already putting a little bit more dark on that edge, and think we'll have a spot of light on here somewhere just to help bring it to life. I better draw that in before I forget to do it. Let's put that about here, say. Yeah. So again, you can mix what colours you want into this. Just there's a little bit of burnt umber going into the blue there. Just helps it maintain its realism when you mix more than one colour. Now I'll put a little bit of cerulean blue in there as well. And we're getting nearer the top. I think they'll probably be a little bit lighter near the top. So. A little bit of dark on there just to show we're on the edge. That's it. A little bit more brown. Bring that up there. Not working from any photographs or anything here, just letting the palette take us where it takes us. I might just, as we're getting nearer the spot of light, it gets a little bit lighter because we're naturally the light is focused on that point, so the ball will be our ball, whatever it is, billiard ball, whatever it you choose to make it, we'll have that spot of light on it. And just go up to the edges a bit more with the, now we're sort of getting a little bit more now if it's got that light hitting it there, which is means it's going to have a shadow. So I think we need to put that in a minute. A little bit of red, a little bit of orange, a little bit of Indian yellow, a little bit of white. It's just whatever colours are on my palette really. Actually, probably not those. Then we can just adjust it by adding white. At the moment, it appears to be hovering in midair, so we'll batten that down to the ground with the use of some shading. What can I use? I'm a little middle around with my colours. I think we'll put a little bit of blue in there, a little bit of Payne's grey, some black, some brown. I've even got paint on my hands just to. What this is doing is helping to make it sit on the ground. And that's not quite the right colour, so a bit of Indian yellow, a bit of Alarizian, back to the black. And the black again. Just get that. I mean, that's going to be enhanced where it comes through there. I just need to qualify that a little bit if I can find my original brush. Bring that round. Soften that up. A little bit more, just slight adjustments in there. And we'll be there. Go into the black and just that. Just taking the edge off that. It's a little bit fiddly when you're doing the final touches, but you want to get them right. It's got to look like how you want it to look. Now, to all intents and purposes, we've done our ball. That's a little bit more of fine tuning there, but bring that round more to the front, make it sit on the ground. A bit finer brush. Now, I'm just going to introduce something. We're going to use the palette knife just to enhance those colours a little bit. Give it a little bit more je ne sais quoi, something like that. Just give it a little bit of. Got to add chaos into your pictures, because if they're too too exact. They become sterile. Give it a little bit of something else. And we haven't actually done anything about that white patch in the middle, which is the bit of light, which we'll just take a big dob of white and put in there. Okay. Which is a little bit more daub than I actually intended, but there we go. Let's take that off. There you are. Une balle. Ta-da!
Thanks, Pip. Nice and simple project there for you to enjoy. Great practice for getting your light right. It really helps to give your paintings the illusions of depth and adding a sense of reality. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of Pip in future programmes. Okay, folks, time for us to take a little break now, but join us in part 3 when Fraser Scarfe returns to unlock the power of acrylics in the concluding part of today's Try Your Hand At project. See you soon.